Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Hello everyone. What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here in the live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. We're going to do some mini readings today. We've got 2 people on the list. If you want to get on the list, it is open. You can choose from astrology or tarot, and within the astrology category, you can have me look at your natal chart, the transit, your progress chart, or I can even do synastry with these mini readings. So I hope that if you're looking for guidance, you are able to get on the list for tonight. Hello, Cole. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Kim. Hello, Shannon. Hello, Bora. Yay. You guys are so welcome to be here in my chat. I just woke up from a nap. You can probably tell I'm like a little bit out of it. But I'm excited to be here. And before we officially get started, the people that are on the list are Melissa G and Rebecca White. So that's who we're going to start with. But before we get started, I wanted to tell you guys that I'm having a sale this weekend that ends or goes through till the end of Monday, May 31st. And the sale is, I actually have a little list of all the things that are on sale. Basically all of my readings and the stuff on my Etsy shop. And all of my readings that are normally 108 are now 75. The readings that are normally 113 are 80. The ones that are 150, the composite chart, which is a new type of reading, is 130. And my deluxe reading is 275 instead of 333. My transit readings are now 120 instead of 144. And then everything on the Etsy shop is up to 50% off. And I have also released my Quantum Astral Healing Journeys, if anybody wants to sign up for those. Hello, Valerie. Welcome in. Those have been amazing and powerful to do. And let's see what else. Make sure that you download your Free Moon Astrology Guide, which gives you the tells you what your psychic gifts are based off of your moon sign. And then it gets you on my email list. And when you're on my email list, I send out a weekly Moon Magic report that, hey, Chandra, welcome in. That basically gives you the forecast for the week, which is amazing. We are in between eclipses right now, so it is very, very heavy, dense energies. I mean, literally, I've been going up and down. It feels like waves crashing, emotional waves crashing, coming in and out. So that is what's up, y'all. So Melissa, if you are in the chat, let us know. And also Rebecca. And if you want to get on the list, there's the link is in the description of this video. It's a $25 donation sent to my PayPal. So that's how this works, especially if you're new. And if you are here for the first time, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Or if you're here watching replay or live, give the video a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hello, Nelvin. Welcome in. Valerie says, couldn't sleep at all last night. Yeah, I've been having a really hard time sleeping. It's like catching up, and I'm feeling it like building up to like exhaustion. Like, so then I took a nap today because I didn't sleep last night, and all day was just kind of like a weird energy day. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to take a nap. And when my alarm went off, I'm still not awake. Like, that's what it feels like. That's how tired I was. So it's just a lot. And for me, that taking a nap was like a little bit of self-care and making sure that I'm not overdoing it. Although part of me is like, this is a lot, you know? This is like, oh my God, I think we went live. This is my fourth day in a row going live on the channel, and that's a lot. And on top of it, it's like the eclipses, right? And then last weekend we had the essential oil workshop, which actually you can still watch the replay and still join our giveaway if you are interested. So anyways, that's my little spiel. Do we have Melissa or Rebecca in the chat at all? You napped for 3 hours? Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So I think Melissa said it was her first time getting a reading, and she left me a note. So I'm going to check that real quick. Excuse me. So December. Okay, so this is her information. So I'm just gonna, she wants an astrology reading. I'm just gonna get started on that one. Hi there. What's your question again while I pull up your chart, Melissa? We are ready to start. You are the first one. Whew. Here we go. Right when I'm live, the sneezing starts. December 15th. 94 at 107. And the way that it normally works is when you sign up for a reading, you come into the chat and then put up your question in the chat when I call your name. So Rebecca is next. And right now we're doing Melissa's reading and the list is open. Okay. So San Juan. And I'm getting hot again, so I need to turn on the AC. There we go. And that's... Oh, Puerto Rico. Okay. So let's see. I've had some pretty rough transits lately. I'd appreciate any insight on how the retrogrades will affect me in terms of communication and relationships, and when the pressure will finally let up. The pressure is not going to let up, unfortunately. And that's, thank you. That's a pretty much standard answer for everyone right now. The pressure is not going to let up. because it's just like the intensity is just building, 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 building. We've had like a lot of powerful opportunities up until just a few weeks ago when the retrograde started, and that's the pressure. And so like these are crazy times, and this is even crazier right now. Yeah, exactly. 2025 maybe. And this is even crazier times, specifically right now. We are in between eclipses. So eclipse time is a time for radical change, revolution, and all that stuff. And so I'll tell you where the retrogrades that are going on right now are going to be happening, because I can see that in your chart. And then the Saturn retrograde is a 6-month transit. The Pluto retrograde is a 6-month transit. So if you see what I'm saying, it's like this is where we're at. So this is what we're dealing with. But I'd love to give you some insights on some of that. Let me switch the screen, and I'm going to share this with everybody so we can look at your chart on the screen. But yeah, that's literally what's going on. It's just, it is what it is. Yep. Okay, let me enter this code in. And I'm going to do the transits and okay. However, let me make sure I get a picture of this. And then I'm going to go over here where you can see it better and I can actually write on it. Okay. So, I've been having some pretty rough transits lately. I'd appreciate any insight on how the retrogrades will affect me in terms of communication and relationships. Okay. So the retrograde that we started with is Pluto. So here's the retrogrades. Pluto, Saturn, and you can see Mercury and Venus are conjunct today. Tomorrow, Mercury goes retrograde. So these are the 3 areas of your life that are being affected. So when we look at the houses, that tells us where those energies are going to be affecting you. So the Pluto retrograde is happening in your 10th house of career. So what's been happening is with Pluto transiting your 10th house in general, he's been sort of breaking down. And because in your 10th house is where all of in 2020, we had all those conjunctions, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto. They were conjunct in like all of 2020, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then we had eclipses in Capricorn and Cancer. So this has been a big, big theme for you. What's been changing for a year now is your career, is everything that has to do with career. What you thought your career was is no longer. You've had to change, let go of old ways of doing things, let go of old ways of showing up in the world, because the 10th house is about showing up in the world. And now it's like you're cruising, but there's Pluto retrograde, which means there's revisiting, there's a reflection. Pluto retrograde asks us to let go of things that are no longer serving us. So this is in your career house and in your life path house. The next retrograde is Saturn, and he just went retrograde again. This is another 6-month transit. So for 6 months, he'll be retrograding in your 11th house, which is the house of friendships, sharing your gifts with the world, and just kind of like shining your light and strengthening your network. So it's cool that you are in Aries rising, because for you, these are the natural houses that the signs, find themselves in. And so Saturn in Aquarius is a strong transit. He does encourage taking your authority back. He does encourage uniqueness. He does encourage things, very different kind of energies. And the thing that is interesting about this is that even though Saturn is really strong here, the retrograde asks you to think about everything that has been going on in this area of your life for the last 6 months. So how have your networks of people, been activated? You had a pretty big activation in this house when last December, when Saturn and Jupiter conjuncted there at the cusp of your 11th house. It was like the beginning of a new journey for you. Oh, it looks like I may be okay. Yeah, it was the beginning of a new journey for you in terms of the whole area of sharing your gifts with the world, like stepping up and then sharing your gifts, showing up for the world and sharing your gifts. And these are the areas where you're reflecting now of all the change that has happened in the last 6 months. This is also, the last eclipses that happened, everything that has, that you've gone through in the last 6 months. This is a cycle that's ending and a new cycle that's beginning. And of course, the Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in your 3rd house of communication. So this is the house that Mercury rules. So he's at home here, and this retrograde is going to ask us to reflect on everything. This last eclipse cycle, so the last 6 months, but then also everything that's been happening since the last year, where the North Node entered into Gemini and the South Node entered into Sag. And for you, because this is your communication house, you may feel like it's like you have a difficult time communicating, because the universe is asking you to it's almost like think before you speak. Mercury retrograde is like, don't just run at it. Think twice before you do things. This is kind of like a very neurotic kind of time where people might feel like they are kind of losing it. They're going crazy. Those are the energies with a lot of this Gemini, because it's mutable, and mutable energy is changeable and flexible, and it's kind of all over the place. So this may be difficult for you in your relationships, especially if people aren't on the same page. But you need to make sure that when you communicate, that you think clearly before you say anything in terms of your relationships. And Mercury's retrograde until the 22nd. So that's the first retrograde that we'll kind of go through, and then we'll have another eclipse, and then it will end, but the other retrogrades will continue for a while. So there you go. That's retrograde city for Melissa. So thank you for signing up for a reading. Next is Rebecca, and if you want to get on the list is open. Thank you again for signing up. Yeah, Chandra and I were looking at the energies, and it's almost like, 2025 is when we're like coasting into the new era. But between now and then, man, oh man, they ain't no party like, I don't know, a Pisces party? Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. You're welcome, Melissa. I appreciate it. Thank you, Shannon. So let's see. Okay, Tarot and Oracle, please. Do you see anything coming in the way of Derek coming with us on our trip next month? Okay, let's check it out. Is there anything in the way of Derek coming with Rebecca and her family on their trip next month? Is that right? Shannon, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. These are kind of intense cards, but I'll show them to you. Of course I'll show them to you, but let me pull 2 more. I'll show them to you in a second. Just like, what is going on? Okay. Oh, all right. 1 more, please. There's 1 major arcana. A lot of sword cards, so this is a mental thing for you. I sense you're in your head a lot lately. That's what I'm getting. A lot of sword cards. So there's mental anguish about this. It's almost like your mind is overactive right now, which can get gnarly because of the Gemini and the retrograde in Gemini. But let me show you what we got. We got the Eight of Swords, first card. 10 of Swords, King of Cups, the back side of the card of these vice versa. So the King of Cups, right? But looking away from you. 7 of Swords. We do get the Temperance card, and then the 9 of Swords. So that's intense. That's intense, Rebecca. With the Eight of Swords, okay, so like putting this message together is like the main thing that's coming through is there's a lot of overthinking. It's almost like you, in a sense, either there's something that you're refusing to see. There's something that you're not seeing, but I don't know if it's because you're refusing to see it or because something's blocking you from seeing it. But that's the Eight of Swords. It's like you can't quite get through. You feel trapped somehow in some kind of energy. And I know you were asking about whether he's coming on the trip with you, but so I don't know why all these crazy cards are coming out, but we'll definitely decipher the message and figure out what that is. Kimberly says, ouch, but there's always hope. There's always hope. There's always, I mean, this is the raw truth. There are some pretty powerful things that I see in these images as well. So, something about it feels like, either it almost feels like maybe your freedom maybe feels like you're being taken away. It's almost like you feel powerless. You may be facing a lot of fears. You may be having doubts. I think that's what this card is, the Eight of Swords. You have doubts of some, it's his job, feels like all the energy in his job. Oh, okay. Well, there is a doubt. Maybe he's the one that's doubting whether he's gonna, be able to come or not. Or maybe that's where he feels trapped in the job. So the 10 of Swords, what I see that's really interesting in this card is, I don't know if you can tell, but that up there is like literally a solar eclipse. Because it's the moon in front of the sun in this image. And obviously the 10 of Swords is a card where it's like an ending. There's an ending to something. Something is definitely coming to completion, right? What I feel is that it could be that what he's dealing with is coming to completion. It could be related to the job. It could be related to you. This could be related to the relationship. But what I see is that solar eclipse and the fact that this eclipse season, we are in eclipse season, so that's significant, is happening basically ending the last 6 months cycle. What I see is that something is coming to a completion since the last 6 months that has been going on for him. It feels like some of it feels like maybe betrayal of some sort. Some of it feels like there's a little bit of defeat. What's really interesting in the view of this card is that the person, the person like watching, that's really interesting to me. So we've got the 10 of Swords, the person on the ground who's been sort of defeated or killed, like overkill, like literally overkill. But then we have this person watching, and it almost seems like that's the spirit of the person that just died. It almost feels like either that's the spirit or that's the sense that I'm getting. So it's almost like a watching of something, the watching of an ending, the perceiving of an ending. Rebecca says that's when he started getting promoted and then taken advantage of in his job. It's, oh, wow. Okay. So I'm glad that you're definitely seeing the connections, but there's a lot like going on here. So maybe he's contemplating the end, maybe he's contemplating like being, at least thinking about like, what if I didn't have to do this, all the time. Now the King of Cups is, we're looking at the back side of the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is like the emotional support that you have. It's like it's the balance. But when you have this card, basically looking at the backside of it, which makes it seem like it's reversed or something, it's almost like there's no access to this in a way. And so this transforms into, there may be obsessive energies, there may be manipulative energies, because it's like taking the emotions and using them like against someone. So there might be some kind of emotional manipulation involved in this entire situation, or a lot of heavy, intense emotions that could be causing like stress in the situation. You also get the Seven of Swords, but I do believe that we're looking at this as the reverse, which I think is a good sign. The Seven of Swords in reverse is about revelations, freedom, it's like releasing yourself from the things that are not serving you. So it's like, instead of being like taken from, it's like you're being released as a freedom. So I mean, all of this really points to like some kind of ending that's going to lead to a very beautiful thing, because the Temperance card comes out, and the Temperance card is about healing. It brings in healing, it brings in balance, it brings in harmony, moderation. So everything in moderation. And this is obviously this is the direct card. That was my dog. This is the direct card. And Mercury is, the sign of Mercury is on this card. I just want to show you that, because we're going through this intense Mercury transit right now. When is the trip? What's the date of the trip? Because the retrograde with Mercury ends on June 22nd. So if possible, I would recommend waiting until after the retrograde to kind of embark on that journey. But at the same time, with the Nine of Swords at the end, which I also believe, you know what's so interesting? These are a lot of the reversed energies. But with the Nine of Swords in reverse, this is about having a calmness. Instead of anxiety, there's a calmness, right? So when the balance and the healing comes, and he's able to kind of escape whatever intensity he's going through, find his freedom, like grab what he came here to get and find his freedom, it's all going to lead to like the release of that, which will make it easier for him to relax. So the calmness, he'll be able to have more control over himself, and he'll be able to rest more, right? Because that's the card of anxiety. So June 11th. Okay, so you guys will be, just know you will be traveling right after the eclipse. So, but that's what I'm getting. So the original question being, do you see anything coming in the way of Derek coming with us on our trip next month? Honestly, I feel like if he lets the pressures take over, that'll get in the way. Yeah. So that's what I'm getting. It's like if he lets the pressures take over, because there is a lot of pressure on him, that's a given. So he has the opportunity to like let go and go and enjoy himself. I guess he's not going. But if he's able to like release, right, those pressures, or like not make himself like be, told what to do and whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a yes, that he has the opportunity to let go of the stress. I think the trip will actually help him. It will give him some time out to think. So I think it's a really good idea for him. But I think it's like the pressure, he has to deal with that pressure. But unfortunately, I feel like it sounds kind of like it's it's the end of a cycle. So unless he's willing to start something new, start a new cycle within himself, internally and also externally, then the pressure I don't think is going to go away. Unfortunately, the situation seems like it's way too much pressure and he's like caving into it. I don't know why I'm getting that, but that's what I'm getting. So there you go. Thank you, Rebecca, for signing up for a reading. I hope that gave you some kind of insight, but you can tell that from the cards that we got that there's some gnarliness going on. There's definitely some kind of gnarliness going on. And I know there's a couple more people that got on the list, so I just want to check that real quick. I'm checking the link now. Yeah, that's what it definitely feels like. It is out of balance. Okay, Nelvin is next. And if you do sign up for a reading, you do get entered into the giveaway, the monthly giveaway, which happens every month. So the next one we're going to do is the giveaway for, did we do the one for April? I don't even remember, you guys. That's how out of it I am. We may be waiting until June. No, I think we're going to be doing the May one. So it's coming up soon. After Nelvin, it's Patricia. So Nelvin, go ahead and put up your questions. And thank you everyone for watching. I do appreciate it. You're welcome, Rebecca. You want me to look at the transit for May 29th for tomorrow? Just want to see my transit, if there is divine timing, if there is a divine timing for my awakening. Can you clarify what you mean by that? What do you mean if there is divine timing for my awakening? And then while you answer that, I'm going to pull up the chart. All right. 7/24/83. At 6 a.m. And Hernani. Okay, let's add transits for here and now. I'm not yet awakened. Well, for you it's the 29th, but the transits are these ones. They're happening there as well, except for you they're happening on the 29th, and for us they're happening on the 28th. This is the chart of right now in this moment. So the astrology is the same, like I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like this is happening right now in this moment. For me, it's May 28th. For you, it's May 29th. But tomorrow is the day that Mercury does go retrograde, and we can look at where that's happening in your chart as well. Okay. Now I'm curious because you say you're not yet awakened. I'm curious. I have a lot of questions for you. What makes you feel you're not awake? What is the idea that you have of being awakened? That's a very interesting thing to ask. Okay. And I'll look at what else I see that's going on in your chart too, for sure. I'm just curious as to what you think of that. But I'll start talking while we wait for your answer. So you're going through a nodal return this year, which for you, and it's significant right now, specifically in this moment, because you have your North Node at 24 degrees of Gemini, and that's exactly where Venus and Mercury are conjunct right now in this moment. And that is an activation. I mean, that's a really powerful activation. Tomorrow, Mercury literally goes retrograde and it goes over your North Node again, and then over all of the other Gemini stuff. And you do have other Gemini in your chart specifically, which I think is significant, is Chiron in Gemini. It's Chiron in Gemini. And the Chiron theme, or the healing theme for anybody that has Chiron in Gemini, is the insecurity about speaking your truth, sharing your voice, saying the things that you want to say, because Gemini loves to talk, loves to express itself. And having Chiron in Gemini this is a healing journey for you. You are on a journey to let go of that insecurity that you do know exactly what you're talking about. So all this Gemini aspecting your Gemini placements, it is an activation. It really is, because this is where the eclipses have been going on. So you're having a nodal return, which means that you are experiencing a call to move forward towards your destiny, towards what you came here to do. And a lot of that with the duality of the South Node Sag, North Node Gemini, is the essence of the teacher. It's the essence of the teacher. Yeah. So you're it's almost like you are going through an activation, and the cool thing is that it's affecting your North Node, which means it's your destiny. What are you supposed to do? The question is, what are the voices saying? Because one thing is to hear voices, another one is to decipher. Like, is this, where are the voices coming from? Is this is this your spirit guides communicating with you? Is this, what is it? What is the voice saying? So that's something personal, not to, just tell everyone, but something to ask yourself. It's like, because we can have like intuitive hits come to us in, clairaudient ways, clairvoyant ways, so we can see visions and dreams, or we can hear things. And so that just depends on when you're receiving messages, like what is going on, because this could be the beginnings of a powerful awakening. The other thing is that your Chiron has been getting aspected a lot. So there is healing going on here. There's healing at a deep level for you, and it has to do with career as well, because Chiron is in your 10th house. So somehow career for you is related, how you show up in the world and your life path is connected to your healing journey. And that you came here to heal yourself through your work, like through your life's work. And that doesn't have to be like an actual career, but it is something that puts you in the limelight. It's somehow people look at you or watch you or observe you. And that's because the 10th house is the house of being observed. If you have the sun in this house, if you have Pluto, these are things that make you someone that is suited for being in the limelight or being in the public eye. With Chiron here, it's like the journey is somehow your being seen is healing for you in some way, shape, or form. And with Uranus, transiting your 10th house, that's creating a lot of change. There's conflict between your career and your relationships with the Saturn Uranus square. This is the big theme for this year, because this is happening 3 times this year. The squares from Saturn to Uranus. So relationships and your career are something that is changing. It's like there's an activation, but it also feels like things are all of a sudden unpredictable, might be a little bit scary. But what I'm looking forward to is when this node makes it all the way to 1 degree of Gemini, or 0 degrees of Gemini, where we will have the activation of the Pleiadian channel. And because 0 degrees of Gemini is the Alcyone, which is the heart of the Pleiades. So what I would say in general, your question about like a spiritual awakening, is usually spiritual awakenings happen when there's tower moments, when things in life fall apart because they need to be rebuilt, because you need to recreate yourself. And that's usually when spiritual awakenings happen. Most people describe them as, something happened, it's something physical. Some people feel like their third eye opens, or all of a sudden their intuition just like starts lighting up. So depending on those are examples of symptoms that you can have during a spiritual awakening. So I would listen for that, and listen to what's changing in your life, because those things that are difficult, that are falling apart, are the ones that are like catapulting you forward, causing you to take those quantum leaps forward. But you have to make the choice to not get stuck in any, patterns from your past. I've learned Pleiadians is a A+ blood type. Same with me. Interesting. Louis says we got to surrender the logic mind, and the constant rationalizing. Awakening can mean recognizing a greater power and following the voice of our intuition. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Very nicely put, Louise. But yeah, I actually, according to the astrology, this is a powerful reawakening for you of your mission, of your life path, of your healing journey. And so I would say yes, but it's ongoing. And this is the window, right, to like step through. This is the window to channel the energies, or at least to step into them, to step into the change, to accept the change, to make the choices, because this is a time of choices. We have free will. And we forget, and I think more and more people are not realizing that we have more choice right now than ever. And it's so obvious. But some people are forgetting that, and they're getting carried away by the illusion that we don't have a choice. And that's what I would say. So I would say yes, there's definitely an activation going on with the nodal return, and all of this also on your North Node, Venus, Mercury, and the retrograde. So pay attention, because I feel like you're going to receive a lot of insight this eclipse season. Maybe some of the questions that you have may actually get answered. But it's about, again, listening to your intuition for sure. So next we have Patricia. Feel free to put up your question, Patricia R. And I'll check the PayPal real quick. But that may be, I think that's what we have so far. You're welcome. There's definitely a lot going on in your chart. I would say for sure, maybe that's just the confirmation that you need, but I think you already know the answer of whether something's happening or not. I think because it's internal, right? Like an awakening is it's an internal process, right? We can see it in astrology, but it's also a very internal process, and it's up to us to work through what comes up. It's a personal thing. No one can guide you through it. No one can tell you what to do. No one can, make you do anything, because it really does become your true choice. So, excuse me. I'm still like napping. After this, I'm going to take my dog for a nice walk because she is like so fed up with me right now. I've been like so busy doing a million things, and she's like, I am so bored. Oh my God. Okay, so we have got tarot, please. Okay, cool. My son is getting married in June. How is the vibe looking? What's your intuition tell you about that? It's quite a day to get married. All right. How's the vibe about the marriage? What's going on with Patricia's son's marriage on June 11th? What insight, what information can we get from this? One more card. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So the first card that we get, there's two major arcana. So those are going to be like the powerful, oh, crazy, Shannon. So these are those two are like the main themes. Everything else kind of adds to the picture. But this is the first card that we get, and it is the Queen of Cups. Her chair is green, and we're looking at the back of her chair. That's why it looks see-through. But the Queen of Cups, in reverse, because this is the back side, is about intuition, compassion, and receptivity. Intuition, it could be challenging. Yeah, I would say yes, it's going to be challenging because of its eclipse season. So I got married during an eclipse, and it's just heightened energies. It just depends on what kind of eclipse is going on. That's going to be the North Node eclipse, so that's a good thing. But yeah, heavy, intense energies where everyone's just going through a lot. So the people at the wedding might be having a hard time. And of course, it's like they'll bleed off that onto everyone else. So that's the challenging part, I feel, is like we're the guest. And then them themselves, like the groom and the bride, might themselves also feel challenged to make a commitment during this kind of intense time. It's such a commitment. There's also, you can't see it, but there's an Anubis. It's a bird in the back of this chair. But this is intuitive, compassionate, and receptivity. So this is a time for receiving receiving messages, receiving intuition. That's the first thing that we get. You also pull, and this is interesting, the High Priestess card, and it is also reversed. Oh, this is a third major arcana. Okay, never mind. So there's three major arcana cards. The High Priestess is logic. It's about logic, evidence, and doubt can also come in. So if we look at the front of this card, she's wearing the Hathor crown. So it's like Goddess Isis energies. And the High Priestess is like it's also intuition because it's connected to the moon goddess. But being reversed, it's almost like what I see is that this is so weird, but I'm just going to say it. Both of these are female figures, and they're sitting in their thrones, like they're at their best, right? The Queen of Cups is the queen of the emotions, and the High Priestess is like in her element. But both of these queens sitting here, it's almost like I feel her essence, right? The bride. I don't know why, but I feel her essence, and she's on her throne, but there's a contemplative energy. But I actually like these cards for like a union, right? I like these cards for a union because the Queen of Cups is at her best when she feels her best, when she's like fully like grounded in her emotions. And the High Priestess is like, I know my divinity, I know my sacred feminine energy. But there's almost like there's a little bit of like, it feels like, can we access it? Can we not access that intuition? It's available, but it's like we're behind it. Can we maybe take this by the example that it is and watch what these two powerful women do, because that's the example that we have right now. It's like sitting in your throne and being in your strength is what they're going to need for this time. And then we get the Magician, which I feel what this is saying is that anything can be created. Anything can be manifested. This is creativity and this is action. This is like moving forward. So the sacred feminine is holding space. I feel this is for the masculine in some way, shape, or form. But Mercury also is the Magician. So I feel like he's opening the door. This is a portal. They're getting married during a portal. So it's heavy energies, but I think so far from these cards, I feel like they're going to feel like empowered, or they're going to like, it's really going to like strengthen. I feel like it's going to strengthen the bond. We also get the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups. And this is the Seven of Cups. Is it upright? No, I think it might be reversed. So we'll look at the reverse energies of the Seven of Cups. But usually the Seven of Cups can feel like confusion is coming in. However, with the reversal, it can feel like so let me say this first. The main theme of the Seven of Cups is that you feel like you have too many options. Feels like they're all out there, but you can't quite pick one, right? And so the goal is to figure out what it is that you want. So maybe this is what I feel like this card represents in general is the energy of Neptune right now. Neptune squaring a lot of the Gemini energy. So this is what's creating a little bit of like the chaos, because the Seven of Swords can also bring in, the Seven of Cups, can also bring in like illusion, temptation, distraction. So there's a lot. This tells me that there's a lot of things that can distract from the wedding. A lot of things can distract from the wedding. So the key is, how can you stay, centered in your own place? And over here we get the King of Swords, and the backside of the King of Swords, which means that there can be a little bit of manipulation. There can be a little bit of ruthlessness. Or it can also mean that to stand in your ground, you need to know where your thoughts lie. You need to know where you stand mentally. And this has a lot to do with the mind, because all the Gemini energy is the mental energy that is it's feeling like it's all over the place. I was saying earlier how a lot of people are going to feel like during this time they are losing their minds. Like, no, not even joking. However, like I said, the Magician being here, we got to look at the major arcana. So the Magician being here is a good sign, because this means that creativity is awakening. This is the time of the mind, the Mercury. The High Priestess and the Queen of Cups, that's also a good sign, because it's like an intuitive, the intuition says, yes, it's time for creativity. It's time for awakening something new. And then the last card, that we want to look at is the Lovers card that comes through, although this is also reversed. And you see Mercury right there as well. So the reversals is what I would be worried about, because the Lovers card reverse is, instead of like harmony in a relationship, it's like conflict, disharmony, and can also be temptation. So there's good things and there's not so good things. I feel like it's definitely overall, here's like my assessment of this reading. Because of the reversals, I feel like it's going to be a challenging situation. It doesn't mean that, right, something could go wrong. It's not like that. It just means that there'll be challenges that have to be faced. But in the end, I feel like those challenges are going to strengthen the relationship, because to commit to something during a time that is so like revolutionary and changing so much can create a really strong bond. And the bride is a Gemini. So she actually probably feels good and crazy at the same time. so that's what I mean. It's like the Gemini energy it's just, what I would do is like make sure that everyone feels like sane, like that everyone's taking care of themselves leading up to the wedding, that you're not overstressing yourselves, because there is a lot of Gemini energy. And yeah, the Lovers card is the Gemini card. So maybe this Lovers card reverse is saying she's going through some kind of internal conflict in some way, shape, or form. And it's possible because of the Mercury retrograde, because they're gonna be getting married during a Mercury retrograde, which is gonna be a little intense. Not gonna lie, but it doesn't mean that this is gonna go wrong. Everything's gonna go wrong. It just means that there's a challenge, but I think people have to make the choice of like, is our bond going to grow stronger from this experience? Because they chose this time, whether they knew it or not, to make this commitment. And I like I said, I got married during an eclipse. It was a total solar eclipse in Cancer, and so I know what it's like to get married during eclipses. And it's like revolutionary things, things that come up, and they don't necessarily feel. Maybe they feel amazing. Some things feel amazing, and some things feel like, what? But the good thing is that the eclipse is a North Node eclipse on January 10th. That's a good thing. If they were getting married during a South Node eclipse, I would say that may not turn out so good. But because it's a North Node eclipse, just like when I got married was, that's auspicious. That's auspicious. So I feel good. I feel like good energies from this. So anyways, I feel like I'm blabbing now, but hopefully that gave you some insight into that. I think someone else got on the list, so let me just check real quick. This may be the last one that we do. Just because, like I said, I really need to take my dog out for a walk, and she's been staring at me and not happy with me. So I think it was Valerie. Yeah, okay, Valerie is next, and we'll do this one last. And thank you, everyone that got on the list. I appreciate it. I hope that made sense, Patty. I mean, I felt like it was just like, it's kind of all over the place, but that's kind of what this eclipse season is about. Yeah, right. I'm like, I'm not sure, but there's a little bit of everything there. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. It's like the challenges, like they chose a pretty epic, powerful time to get married. And it's a good thing that it's right maybe after the eclipse and not the day of. Because then the moon is like beginning to crescent, you know? Okay. I have been fighting sleep over the last few months. It is just poor sleep hygiene. Is it just poor sleep hygiene, or am I inadvertently blocking information from dreams? Let's find out. All right, what's going on with Valerie and her dreams? You're welcome, Patty. Is it poor sleep hygiene or just blocking information from dreams? So far, you've got one of each card. I mean, one of each suit. Oh no, don't worry about it. She's all right. She's all right. I just know that this is the last one. I can feel it. Okay, so the first card that we get is, I believe this is the Page of Swords in reverse, which is, okay, this is interesting. This is careless, defensive, or incompetent energy. So careless or defensive. Okay. Let's see what else comes through, and then I can come back to what this really represents. The next one we get is, the King of Cups, but this is not in reverse. This is actually upright. And the King of Cups is an energy of support. It's a considerate energy. There's balance and there's generosity. It's also about emotions that are balanced, like a mature way of looking at emotions. So the third card we get is the Nine of Wands in reverse as well. Interesting. We're getting a lot of reverse cards this today, which doesn't surprise me with the retrograde coming. But the Nine of Wands is frustrated energy. Okay, defensive and anxious. In reverse. So that's the same. That's very similar as the Page of Swords in reverse. Why is there defensiveness here? Maybe it feels like it's obviously like a mental thing for everybody. It's like a mental thing because the mind is super active right now. But both of these cards, the word defensive comes through, which makes me feel like there's frustration. So that kind of makes sense. There's frustration because you're feeling kind of unbalanced. Frustration because you're feeling unbalanced. The Temperance card comes out also in reverse, which can feel like conflict, impatience, and instability. Whoa. Because you're juggling a lot. The Two of Pentacles. There's a lot of juggling. Okay. So interesting. And then we get one more card, and I'm trying to figure out if this is the reverse. No, I think this is upright. This is upright. The Six of Swords is the last card, and it's upright. Okay. So here we go. There's a lot going on. The Two of Pentacles, she's building on her confidence. Yeah, that's true as well. So I feel like the Two of Pentacles, for like just in general, I think there's a lot happening for you. There's a lot going on. I think it could possibly be that the frustration is coming because of the lack of sleep, right? Like fighting sleep, not being able to sleep. It's causing this sort of anxiousness or irritability is what I feel. So with the Six of Swords, which is the card of like you need to move away from this, literally the message is like you got to move from the choppy waters to the calm waters. So before you start to move forward and move away from all, you got to move away from this energy. It's too much. It's too stressful. I think it's not gonna get any better. So anything that you can do to help you sleep is good. Now, it is possible that you are sort of resisting, because remember the defensiveness. It's almost like maybe in your dreams. The other thing about the King of Cups is it's a masculine energy. It's a male energy that is someone that's connected to your emotions, right? This could be some kind of male figure in your life, and they're there, and they're like, somehow you want this stability, you want this emotional stability, but there's anxiousness and too many things that you're trying to balance. The frustration comes up. It almost feels like the healing that you're wanting is not there, because it's like staring in the opposite direction. The temperance that brings harmony and balance is reverse. So it's like that harmony and balance is not there. It's like the opposite of that. So the answer is, and I don't know if this is the answer that you were looking for, but honestly, the answer is you have to move away from the choppy waters to the calm waters. And when you do that, that actually means sleep. Like, that actually means you have to sleep. You have to stop fighting the sleep. Because to me, if the choppiness is the energy of like choppiness is now, which is like uncomfortable, everything that we talked about, the uncomfortability, the irritability, the feeling like you're overwhelmed, the conflict or like the disharmony is happening now, then actually the dream world, the actually getting to sleep will calm that energy. And you may be surprised at how much it gives you. But something has to happen for you. You have to move away from the conflict in your life in some way, shape, or form to be able to find that calmness again, so that that calm state that usually comes from sleep can be there, and that you can actually get rest at night. But you're definitely moving in that direction. I don't think that it's because, I actually don't feel from these cards, I don't feel like this is because you're avoiding like messages from your dreams. I think it's just because you're stressed out. And I think there's a lot going on. You're dealing with a lot, and just some things are just not feeling like relaxing to you. And obviously all the crazy energies, right, are affecting us so much. I've been having trouble sleeping. And so I would do like all the things that you can do in your world to help you to find more relaxation, especially when it comes to the mind. Like meditation is one thing that comes to me. The oils, like the essential oils, is another thing that comes to me. I've been diffusing. The other night when I couldn't sleep, I was actually diffusing lavender, grapefruit, and what was the other one? Roman chamomile. And just diffusing that in a room, like, changed the energy of the room, and I was able to relax and then eventually fall asleep. And you can actually, a lot of these are ingestible oils, right? You've heard us talk, about the doTERRA thing. So a lot of these oils are ingestible. So when you figure out, like, maybe we should have a conversation, but I think that this could be something that works well for you. And especially if you have that smell, what is it? Oh my God. What Chandra calls it, the smell cognition or something like that. I don't know. In human design, if you're sensitive to smells, like, I think the essential oils can be really, really good, but they can be good for anybody. But I don't feel like you're avoiding messages. I don't think you're avoiding sleep. I think that you're just really stressed out. But when you allow yourself to relax and like let go of the expectation, then I think you'll be able to find that calmness, because that's why I like the Six of Swords being last. It's you're walking away from all this chaos of cards and going to the calmer waters. But it's going to take the help of someone, because that's also about the Six of Swords. You have to let somebody help you. Yeah. So if the sense of smell is strong, it might, just a suggestion, it might be a good idea to help you sleep. It's worth trying. Oh, and I was saying you can ingest them too. So you can make yourself like a lavender grapefruit tea, like literally just warm up some water and put like the drops of oil in the warm water with some other kind of tea, but like maybe like a chamomile sleepy time tea and pour some grapefruit and some lavender and some Roman chamomile, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's ways to like help your body like get into that calm space every night to help you sleep, especially during these crazy times. I feel like these are the times where we need that the most. But I feel you're going to reach a point where you'll find that calmness, but it's going to take you taking action towards getting there. It's not going to be, what does that say? Ended. Lavender. It's not going to be, it's not just going to happen by itself. Someone will help you sort of get to that point where you're like, okay, now I'm going to try all these different things that are going to help me get better sleep at night. And then you'll feel like, oh, wow, I just really needed to get some sleep. So I think it's the stress that is causing the lack of sleep. So lavender, chamomile, and grapefruit are great, but also, okay, Carol has another suggestion. Yeah, there's more suggestions, but I would say that diffusing it in your room while you're sleeping at night might really, really help. Insight Timer app has a ton of great sleep meditations. Okay, you can try that too. That's a great suggestion. Yeah, all of these things are good. They're good. It's worth a try, right? It's worth a try. That's what I would say. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Mini readings. I will be back next week. Oh, the cedar wood. Okay, yeah, you're welcome, Valerie. The cedar wood oil too. We'll be back next week with the magic of Venus. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves this weekend. This is not really a weekend to go out and party for sure. Like you might want to hunker down this weekend and just be careful, because I think people out there are kind of losing it. And mentally, there's a mental loss of mental cognition going on, and people are out of it. Like I've been out there and people are just out of it. So don't try not to go on like crazy trips or parties or things like that. Like, I don't think anybody's going to parties, but just take care of yourself this weekend. If you can, make rational choices as possible, because I think everyone's going through it really heavy this weekend as soon as Mercury goes retrograde tomorrow. So that's my little warning for you guys. But also live your life and have fun and enjoy life. The next time, not next week, but the week after that, we are going to do the solar eclipse, astrology and all of that. So, there's just a lot. Love you guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Sat Nam.